Come on in, come on in, come on in. Happy Tuesday. Come on in, come on in, come on in. Where did I open this one? Let me extend this out because I didn't do that. So, okay, I can do that. Come on in, come on in, come on in. Come on in, come on in, come on in. I hope that y'all are well. Happy Emotional Intelligence Tuesdays. Do me a favor and put a 1 in the comments if you can hear me clearly. Let me get started in just a minute. I need to send this out. Come on in, come on in, come on in. There we go. Hello, hello, hello. For those who do not know who I am, my name is Antoinette. I'm a feminine leadership strategist. Well, no, I'm not. Why did I just do that? Y'all, I'm still adjusting to my new title. So, what I am is a mentor to women of wealth and influence. And what I do specifically is I mentor high caliber women, okay, to master wealth, to master feminine power, to master influence, and to do all of these things without burning themselves out. So come on in, come on in, come on in. I hope that y'all are well. I'm not going to be on here extremely long today. I'm going to talk about how you don't need to do more. You actually need to be more magnetic. That is actually the key. So a lot of women think that they have to do more, but you actually don't have to do more. You just have to be more magnetic. And I'm going to talk about that today and what that looks like. And I'm going to talk about the things that are kind of blocking you from getting in that space. Okay. So I'm going to kind of give you everything that we're going over. Let me go ahead and pick up my iPad off this charger. Okay. So we're going to talk about the difference between performance and presence. We're going to talk about power versus presence. Okay. And then we're actually going to talk about the reason why you may feel like you need to do too much and the hidden law that you're actually violating by doing too much. Okay. The scripture that's rooted in that and how women tend to violate themselves all the day I mean, every single day. And also what is going to happen should you decide to remain the same, what the consequences of what that actually looks like. So we're really going to get into it today. So some of y'all might be mad at me, but that's okay. So just come on in, put a 1 in the comments if you can hear me clearly, and let me know as well where you are watching from, okay? And y'all, I know I got to have me a good fan. Let me see, well, I got my window open, so I might be all right. Put a 1 in the comments and let me know where you're watching from. Hey, hey, hey. Okay, we're going to get into it today. I'm not going to be here long because I have somewhere to be. Hey, from Arizona. I love Arizona so much. I love Arizona so much. I love it. Hey, from the UK. I love that. I was supposed to make my way to the UK. I get sad when I think about it. It was supposed to happen this month, but I'm working on it. It's hot. Yeah, it is hot. But I just love Arizona. I love how peaceful and calm it is there. It allows me to really just sit in very, very relaxing energy all the time. Like it's the energy there is just very calm. So I really love it. All right. Okay, so we're going to be talking about you don't need to do more. You actually need to be more magnetic. Um, because a lot of women are saying that they're exhausted. They're saying that they're extremely exhausted. They're saying that they're extremely overwhelmed. And I need them to understand that you're not tired because of everything that you're doing, or you're not tired because you do too much. You're tired because your energy is misaligned. And that's the bigger issue at hand because you've been conditioned to do things like hustle for power, but your next level is not going to really come from pressure, okay? It's going to come through or from your actual presence, meaning how you show up in the world, how you show up as a woman. These things are extremely vital and extremely important, okay? So drop a purple heart in the comments for me so I know that you're here. And then we're going to get into how performance is not presence and how control is not power. Because these are the things that we really have to understand. And I think when you think about control, you have to consider when it comes down to control, there is some form of coercion or some form of force involved. And so control is not an aspect of power, okay, in any form. As much as people try to think it is not long-standing power. And about today, what we're going to really be diving into and why this is so important is because when you think about emotional intelligence, and influence, you have to think about as a woman leading with presence, leading with soft power, and also leading with commanding energy. And I always explain this all the time about how you should be able to command a room before you even open your mouth. Before you even speak, you should be able to command the room as a woman. If you're unable to do that, 9 times out of 10, you're very unaware of your energy. You're not in tune with self, okay? Which is going to be very important and extremely vital. So let's get into how performance is not presence. And a lot of us show up performing. A lot of us have been trained to code switch. A lot of us have been trained to act a certain way in front of certain people, or just wear a mask, basically. If I had to really kind of boil it down, like a lot of us have been trained to really just wear mask. And I think a lot of us learned during the pandemic that the longer you wear a mask, the harder it is for you to breathe. So the reality is, if you want your life to be able to shift, you're going to have to take off the mask, okay? So performance is not presence, control is not power. Most women have learned to lead from adrenaline. Oh, and from over functioning, right? So when we say leading from adrenaline, a lot of that comes from, let's say if you're the oldest daughter and it was instilled in you that you better take care of your brothers and your sisters, you better take care of your siblings are your responsibility, yada, 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 and then if you don't do this, there are going to be consequences behind it. So you begin to perform or lead from adrenaline. You begin to do it out of fear of being in trouble until you eventually become trained by that message to innately do it. And then it just becomes second nature. Okay. So that's literally what's happening. A lot of women have been learned or have been conditioned to lead from adrenaline and for over functioning. Okay. A lot of us, when we were young, and let's just say that maybe you were truly tired. Maybe you were truly tired. I know I'm a millennial, so I'm an older in a millennial. So some of us, they'll call you lazy. If you're sitting around all day long, you're looked at as lazy. And what that has grown into is a society of millennial women and a society of women who struggle to rest, to struggle to find comfort and rest. You feel lazy if you're resting. You feel like you need to be up and doing something because you've been sitting down too long. That's where that comes from. So like I said, a lot of women have been learned basically to lead from adrenaline, which is basically fear, and over functioning. The fear of being seen as lazy or not productive or not busy enough. Okay. Um, a lot of these same women tend to be respected professionally. Maybe you've grown up and you're the one in the family who made it, so you make the most amount of money. You're the one in the family who started a business. So these type of women are recognized and respected professionally, but emotionally they're collapsing. They're collapsing underneath the weight of performing as the person who has it all together. They're collapsing under the weight of performing as the person who does not need support. They're falling and collapsing under the weight of the emotions that they are carrying, okay, due to the lack of support. So a lot of these things are happening with women who tend to perform. These women also tend to think that being in control is being in power. So, but it's actually, here's the crazy part about that. It's actually resistance disguised as a form of leadership. Because here's the thing, and a lot of us tend to do this with men, which is why a lot of you go and chase and look for women on this app to teach you how to use feminine wiles to attract men, to lure men, not even attract them, to lure them. A lot of the things that you're being taught on these apps about like how to, go and do this with a man and XYZ, these things are luring tactics. They're teaching you to use feminine wiles, and it makes you feel powerful because the first time that it works, it makes you feel like you actually did something, when in reality they're not really teaching you sustainability. They're teaching you how to lure. They're not teaching you really how to attract. They're not really teaching you how to sustain, which is why you have up and down results with that. Okay, because you're trying to be in control of someone else or use tactics to put someone under control because you think that's power, when in reality, self-control is where the real power lies. Self-accountability is where the real power lies. Self-mastery is where the real power lies. It's not in your performance. This is why when women come to me and ask me questions, and for those who don't know, if this is your first time joining me, everything I give you is going to come from scripture, science, and psychology. So when women come to talk to me, and they say things like, um, or ask me questions about witchcraft, or they ask me questions about spells, and they ask me questions about all of these type of things, right? I always have to ask them or explain to them, if you have the understanding that you are magic, and magic by definition means of supernatural source. I have the understanding that I am of supernatural source, the ultimate supernatural source. And this is according to Genesis. Okay? In Genesis, it says that I am created in the likeness and the image of the Most High. That's what it says. So it says that in creation, in that process, I am literally magic because I am of source. I am of the ultimate source. So if I am of source, and if you are of source, if you have that understanding, why do you need to practice magic? See, you only need to practice and perform things that you do not realize that you are, and when you are trying to outsource your power because you don't recognize the power within yourself. And I stand on that. This is why, like, when you understand who you are and you're really rooted in scripture, you're really rooted in understanding, you understand that you are magic. There's no need for me to practice these things on you. My words are powerful. It tells you literally that there's power of life and death in the tongue. Thank you, my love, for these gifts and these likes. You are constantly speaking spells and things every single day. And a lot of you speak these things over yourself. That's why the Most High tells you in scripture to watch what you say. See, by practicing magic or doing in that sense, you're trying to outsource power. You're trying to use external things to gain power because you don't recognize the power within yourself. You were given dominion over the earth. Dominion. So why do you need to use the earth to outsource power? That's not how it works. It's your touch that cultivates the earth and brings forth more power. So there's a lack of understanding. There's a lack of understanding. And I'm here to help you get that understanding, because all this performing and all this practicing is really beneath you. When you have to perform and you have to practice, it's because you don't recognize, number one, that you have the kingdom of heaven within you. according to Luke 17:21. Hold your question for me, love. I'm going to answer it towards the end. You don't understand that you have all power within you. So therefore, when you lack that understanding, you have no access to that power. So because you have no access to that power, you can't tap into that power. And therefore you lack power. You appear powerless. And that is what your reality is. You appear powerless in your reality, which means that you're always the victim and you're always blaming someone else for not showing up for you, for not supporting you, for not serving you, when you are not serving and supporting and showing up for yourself. And it literally tells you this, that one of the greatest commandments is for you to love your neighbor as you love yourself. But you swear you love your neighbor. You swear you love your children. You swear you love that man. You swear you love your mama, but you don't take care of yourself. You are not loving anyone if you are not loving yourself. And to love yourself is understanding self, is knowing self. Okay? Not performing a version of self to be accepted or to people please. Because it's an oxymoron for you to try to please people and please the Most High. It doesn't really make sense. You're going to please people or you're going to please God. It does not make any sense. Performance is not presence. You're not captivating anyone when you perform. People who are captivated by you are when you are being your authentic self. When you are showing up in full power. That's how you captivate people. You don't even have to say a word. A lot of times you can captivate people. Okay? The thing about it is, like I said, all of these things, the performing aspect of it or trying to control, people think that being in control is being in power when it's not. You are actually, like I said, it's disguised as resistance, or let's say it's resistance disguised as leadership because you're really fighting. If your leadership needs chaos to thrive, it's not leadership, it's survival. If your leadership needs chaos to survive, it's literally not leadership. And see, some of you, when it comes down to your relationships, you're like this. If the relationship is boring and is not chaotic, you don't feel like this is a healthy scenario for you to be in because your nervous system is not trained to receive things that are calm. It's not trained to receive things that are at peace. You like the trauma and the drama because you are the trauma and the drama. And your life is nothing but a recycle of the trauma and the drama because of it. Which is why you show up and you perform. Okay? You've got to understand that there's no need for you to perform. It's not supporting you in the area of the things that you want to attract either. Okay? So let's talk about power versus performance. And I need you to really ask yourself this question as I'm going through these. Which one are you really leading from in your life? I want you to really think about this. Power unregulated is reactive. It's controlling. It's dependent on outcomes. It confuses volume for value. See, and if I were to do this in a relational sense, reactive, controlling, dependent on outcomes, it's when you try to use tactics and tricks to be able to get the desired income. It even includes when you try to sleep with somebody just to get them to like you or to make you their girlfriend or whatever. See, you're so focused on the outcome of this person is going to like you that you're willing to be reactive and you're trying to control the scenario. And what a lot of women don't realize is when you position yourself like that to give of yourself in hopes to get something in return, that's masculine. FYI. The masculine are the givers. We are the receivers. So if you freely give yourself in hopes for a return and you don't get that return on the investment that you thought that you gave, that's what makes you lose it because you expect a return on your investment, which is why you need to be very careful about what you choose to give. This is why I tell y'all to get rid of the giver mindset and adopt an investor mindset. It'll make you think better. It'll make you pause. Unregulated power is reactive, controlling, and dependent on outcomes. It confuses volume for value. See, a lot of you think you have a lot of people around you and you got a whole crew around you that you have community. Thank you, my love, for these gifts and these likes. You think it's a lot of people around you, it's a lot of volume around you that you really have a good core value of friends. You got a core value friend group. When in reality, you really don't. You just have a bunch of people around you. You confuse volume for value. You think a lot means valuable. A lot of y'all got a lot of clothes that ain't worth nothing. Because the majority of them clothes that's being sold on these companies, Shein, Fashion Nova, it's cheaply made. Stuff is not made the way it used to be. So though you may have a lot of clothes, a lot of them probably have no real value. You confuse volume with value. Okay? The third example of unregulated power looks like the need to be on to feel worthy. This is why you feel uncomfortable walking in rooms with people who are smarter than you. This is why you don't connect with people who could get you to the next level, because you know there's a level of accountability. See, you don't want to walk into rooms and network with people that can put your business and take your business to the next level, because you don't feel worthy enough to even be in the room. You don't feel like you're there enough. You feel like you can't talk to people who make more money than you and sell them your product or your service in your business because they make more money than you. So you have them on this pedestal. Hey, my love. You have them on this pedestal. Why? Why? And y'all know I say this all the time. I don't care who's in the room. It could be the most amazing, high-powered, famous person in the room. When I walk into the room, I'm in the room. And energetically, what I understand about myself is that I am so magnetic that I am going to pull some of that energy in the room towards me. I don't need all the energy in the room towards me. See, that's the difference between me and everybody else. I need the right energy in the room to be magnetized towards me. You spend too much time focusing on the fact that you need to be on, that you need to be like this, that you need to be like that in order for people to be able to see you. Absolutely not. I always say all the time, authenticity gets you in the room. Your character keeps you in the room. It's real simple, real easy. Okay? So the thing is, we really need to focus on that. We really need to focus on why is it that you feel like you need to be on in order for you to feel worthy. What's the difference between you and a famous person? What's the difference between you and somebody who has a whole lot of money? I'll tell you right now. Positioning and decisions and choices. Positioning and decisions and choices can really shift your life experience. But a lot of you don't feel worthy, so you don't put yourself in position, or you won't get in position, so your gifts can even make room for you. You are walking around focusing on one thing, trying to be this or portray this one thing, when all you need to do is really be in the fullness of who you are. But you scared that people are going to think you cocky. You scared that people are going to talk about you. You scared of what people are going to come back and say. That's because you haven't dealt with these things yourself. There's nothing that I have lived a very full life for my 41 years of living. Do you understand what I'm telling you? There are some wonderful stories about me. People have wonderful things to say about me. But there are some people that will tell you some other things about me as well. And I always tell people, baby, believe both of them. Because who I used to be is a part of my story. So there's nothing that you can say to me that's going to shame me or make me feel small, because I look in my mirror. I face me. You can't put me back in shackles in something that I freed myself from. You don't have the ability. And the problem is you haven't freed yourself from those shackles. That's why every time somebody comes around you, all they got to do is tap and it's going to go clink, clink. And here you go, getting in your feelings, losing your power, becoming emotionally reactive when you got a whole lot you need to lose. You got a whole lot to lose, but you about to blow it because you're so emotionally reactive because you won't deal with self, which is why you perform. Let me put you on game on something for the women who make the decisions to truly step into out of the false sense of power into true presence. Let me help you out. A lot of people, right, that you're going to encounter a multitude of people, but quite a bit of the people you're going to encounter, women, are not going to like you. When you are a woman who faces herself in the mirror, who recognizes every single angle of the mirror, who does not deny her light nor her dark, that is a woman that can walk around with her head high. Most women wear masks. They pretend. They try to play up their light. They try to get people to see them in one way. They don't want people to see them being another way, how they truly are. So when they encounter a woman like you, who owns both aspects of who she is, who is very sure of who she is, if that woman is in a space where she is not that woman eventually is going to have an issue with you because you are the reflection of everything that she wished that she could be. Now she can be that, but again, positioning, decisions, and choices. Not everybody is brave enough to change their position. Not everyone has the courage enough to make the hard choices and decisions. And because of that, we get the results that we're given. So as you begin to come into your journey, you'll realize that a lot of people that you were connected with, as your vibration raises, they are either going to fall off or they're going to come up. And you have to be okay with that. Everyone wants to be accepted, but no one wants to be rejected. You need to understand duality. You stepping into yourself is going to repel some people, and you need to be okay with that. It's going to repel some of the very men that you claim that you desired so bad beforehand. A lot of those men will become very unattractive to your new palette. The thing is, you have to understand as you ascend and you grow, loss is inevitable. You need to be prepared for that. By being prepared for that is you understanding duality and how things actually work. But the first rule of thumb, stop performing. Stop performing, stop pretending, stop the people pleasing. Get rid of all of that because it's not going to serve you. And people are always going to do what's best for them, and you need to understand that and get in line and do what is best for yourself. Because nobody can play you without your permission, your participation, or the fact that you simply are not paying attention. Real simple, real easy. Okay? So let's talk about what presence regulated looks like since we talked about what faux power looks like. All right? So presence that's regulated actually looks like you're grounded, you're magnetic, and you're clear. You know when to speak and you know when to let your energy do the talking. You move with intention and not urgency. You don't allow others to make their emergency your urgency. That's ridiculous. Why would you do that? A lot of us do that. You do that because you're used to moving according to adrenaline, based in fear. You hop, skip, and jump as soon as anything happens with anyone. That's not supporting you, nor is that serving you at all. Okay? And another thing when it comes down to letting your energy speak for you instead of you always having to speak. I'm really big on when I enter into a room, I like to I have a whole little thing that I do for myself. When I enter into a room, I activate senses. And because everything, like I told you, everything I give you is going to come from scripture, science, and psychology, I understand the science of attraction. I understand the science of magnetism. I love to study quantum physics and all the other nerdy stuff. That's that's my thing. So when I walk into a room, I'm going to activate senses, right? And not even and speaking is the last thing I'm going to do. So when I walk into a room, I'm going to scan the room. Someone is going to feel me first because you notice that someone always feels when you are looking at them. I am going to find someone in their room and draw them into my energy without me even speaking. I'm not going to walk far into the room. I'm going to walk into the room enough for me to be able to scan the room. And then I scan the room and I pull someone into my energy. They feel me first. Then they see me. They see my smile, so they feel more of my warmth, okay? So that right there, I've activated. They feel me, they see me, they feel me again. Okay? So from that space, if I smile and that person decides to come over to me, then guess what? They're going to catch my scent. They're going to smell me. Okay? So I've activated a multitude of senses before I even open my mouth. Speaking is the last thing I'm going to do. They're going to speak before I speak. That is magnetism, beloved. That is you understanding your own power and understanding your magnetism. It's not, and I think, and I've had this conversation before, when you understand energetics, and most importantly, when you understand your energetics and your design, you know how to pull people into your calm, you know how to pull people into your peace, and it's very difficult for people to pull you into their chaos. But see, this is what emotional mastery looks like. You can't do this if you're operating from a space of desperation. You can't do this if you're emotionally reactive. You can't do this if you're performing, because eventually your mask is going to fall off. Okay? The women who hold true power, they don't have to prove it. They just don't. They just walk in it and the room adjusts. Here's what I need you to understand about women who understand their power. I'm sorry, my eyes watering, y'all. Women who understand their power and women who are magnetic. Okay? Um, they understand that we understand that we are thermostats. And when I say that we are thermostats, a thermostat controls the temperature in the room, sweetheart. We are not thermometers. You can't make us go hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold. That's not how that goes. We choose if it's going to be hot or cold, or if it's going to be a little warm, or if it's going to be a little cool. We make that decision. And when you understand that you are a thermostat, you do not easily react when someone comes to try to check your temperature. Being emotionally reactive does not support you. It does not move you ahead. It makes you look unstable. It makes you appear to be untrustworthy. That's what it does. A woman who is ready to manage her emotions is a woman who is prepared to shift and change her life, because everything sits on the frequency of energetics. Love and money sit on the same frequency, which is why women who tend to have issues with money also tend to have a lot of issues with men as well. These things go hand in hand. You're so busy worrying about the haters that you don't realize that love and hate are literally two sides of the same coin. The thread that keeps them together is literally admiration. Any form of hate is a higher, how can I say this? Any form of hate that you really get is a higher level of admiration. It's just an issue because they have an exalted view of you. This is why people can love the message but hate the messenger. You understand what I'm saying? So it's admiration, and you're worried about the haters. You're worried about the haters and they really love you. That's really the truth. That's really the truth. Okay? But how do we change love issues if we are only half the issue? I normally would say hold that question, but I actually want to answer that question. But let me read it again so I can make sure that I answer this question spiritually first, okay? But how do we change love issues if we are only half of the issue? Love is not a half issue. See, love is a whole issue. Society programmed women to believe that you are incomplete in love, or you are incomplete in self if you do not, are you not married, or you do not have someone else. And so when people get together, they say things like, oh, you complete me and all of this and yada, yada, yada. You came to this earth complete. You came to this earth whole. You came to this earth as love. Okay? So the thing is, when it comes down to love, you could not only be half of the issue, because true love is rooted in self-love first. And self-love is something I like to call a fire element. And the external love that you receive from people outer is a water element. This is why it tells you in scripture you are to love your neighbor as you love yourself. So how do you love yourself? You put logs in the fire of self-love. Things like self-respect, things like standards, things like boundaries. These are logs that you put in the fire. You set yourself on fire and you continue to add these logs to your fire until the fire becomes so big and so alluring and so magnetic that water has to come to it. They do call the fire department to bring water to help with fires, right? See, when the fire gets so alluring and so big and so tantalizing and so amazing and just so mesmerizing, water has no choice but to find its way to it. So love could never be a half issue, my love. So if it's a half issue, normally that's because we're trying to outsource the power of self-love through someone else, hoping that they are going to love us the way that we should be loving ourselves first. So it can't be a half issue with love, darling. Okay? I hope that makes sense. Oh, I didn't mean to send an invite, sweetheart. Please cancel that for me. I'm reading this. You have to be clear on what you mean because I'm not sure what you mean. But I'm going to come back to it. But love is still never a half issue. And even when it comes down to standards and requirements, again, um, we're talking about, even when it comes down to love, positioning, choices, and decisions still. Positioning, choices, and decisions. At the end of the day, and love is an action word. Yeah, they never should. They never should. No one is here to complete you. You came here to complete. But half the issue, but even still, well, my point still stands. So love is never a half issue. If your fire is alluring and blazing enough, trust me, water will come. Until then, in those spaces, we always meet ourselves too, which is something that we have to pay attention to. We always meet ourselves, just a different angle of the mirror. And sometimes that requires us to do some reflective work, which is extremely important. Okay? All right. So let's get into the deeper reason of why you keep doing too much, just in general, right? Why women tend to do too much. A lot of women don't realize that you're not overworking because you're ambitious. You're actually overworking because stillness feels unsafe, which is why when you get bored, you want to go get another degree. Or when you want to get bored, you want to call the person to try to make you feel better. Okay? You're overworking not because you're ambitious. You're overworking because stillness feels unsafe. It feels uncomfortable to you. You equate productivity with protection. You fear misunderstood or you fear being misunderstood unless you over-explain. Because over-explaining is a form of a trauma response. It comes from you had to over-explain when you were growing up, probably. You probably were shunned. You really couldn't say too much. And when you did, you always got in trouble. So you really had to kind of get ahead of the game. Okay? A lot of these same type of women also sabotage support because you were taught to depend on nobody. The truth is this, though. You can't hold wealth in any form or influence in any form or love in any form. What's the last thing y'all heard me say? My eye water. I got rid of it. What's the last thing y'all heard me say? I didn't expect to come on here and get red. I'm crying. You can't hold wealth or love in any form. Okay?
You can't hold it if your nervous system can't hold stillness. That's the reality. If your nervous system cannot hold stillness, then you're not going to be able to hold wealth. You're not going to be able to hold love. You're not going to be able to hold anything because you don't feel comfortable. You don't feel safe. I want you to really think about it for a second. If someone were to give you right now $1 million, what's the first feeling that you're going to feel immediately? Put it in the comments for me. Just be honest. Don't try to be like, what immediately somebody called you and says, hey, I need you to come down here because I'm going to give you $1 million. Somebody said excited. Somebody said relief. Somebody said excited. Somebody said anxious. That's what I was looking for. Somebody said disbelief, freedom, confused, suspicious, fear. Please, anxious, scared. Because here's the thing. When people, like, we always crack jokes, and me and my friend was cracking jokes, and we were talking about, she was like, girl, if I ever won the lottery, I would rent me a hotel room because I would be so scared. And I would just have to sit there and I would go take a nap because I need to think for a minute because I'm scared. So that's what she was telling me, and I was laughing because the reality is a lot of times the things that we ask for, we're not really prepared for. We don't really have a plan for. We don't really have a plan for. If you don't have a plan for $1 million, and this is what's going to happen with a lot of people who are focused on leaving their children inheritances, which I think you should, because biblically it tells you that you should leave an inheritance for your child. But if you do not teach your child what wealth is, your child is going to blow that inheritance. And let's talk about that for a second when I say that you can't hold wealth. Wealth, for me, the way I teach it to my clients, if we're building generational wealth, you're pouring into 5 pillars. You're not just leaving money for your children. Because if you just leave money for your children without giving these other 4 things that I'm going to tap into, then you're going to have your lineage is going to have a bigger problem than you realize. And you basically worked in vain. Okay? So, number 1, wealth is financial resources. So, of course, yes, you need to have financial resources to be able to live your life, financial resources to be able to take care of the things you need to take care of and set up your lineage. Second, emotional fulfillment. Second, emotional fulfillment. Second, emotional fulfillment. This looks like emotional understanding, emotional awareness, emotional processing, emotional regulation, emotional intelligence, emotional mastery. See, we start looking crazy when we start getting to number 2. Yeah. Yeah. Because the way you act is how they going to be acting. The way you act and how you handle things is going to be the blueprint for how they handle things and how they deal with things. So again, emotional fulfillment is number 2. And that was just number 2. I'm not even done. So let's get to number 3. Thank you, my love, for these gifts, these likes, these comments. Number 3 is time freedom. Do they see you slaving in your business? Do they see you slaving at a 9 to 5 and slaving in your business? Do they see that you don't own your time? Do they see that you created a business? You went from working a 9 to 5 to getting in a business and you hustling and they never see you? Do you prioritize life around work, or does work get prioritized around life? See, do you own your time? Are you a slave? See, because this is the truth now. Generational wealth includes time freedom. That when we talk about building that, when you look at all the heirs of all these corporations and companies and the heirs of all the, you think they up there slaving? You think they're slave? They not. So what does time freedom look like? Okay, so that's the third thing that we need to be paying attention to. The fourth thing we need to be paying attention to is healthy relationships. The 4th pillar of generational wealth is healthy relationships. Oh, I'm sorry. What was that again? The 4th pillar of generational wealth is healthy relationships. You got you some? Do they see you interact in a healthy way in relationships? Do they see you in a healthy relationship with yourself? See, not having these things are the quickest way for your money and the things that you are setting up for your children to be gone. Because here's the thing, and then the last one is growth and purpose. Okay? Are you growing? Do they understand that there is a purpose behind everything? Do they understand? Are you exhibiting this? Is it clear? I want you to think about if you left $100 million or $1 million or 2 million or 10 million to your children, and number one, they were not emotionally fulfilled. They're gonna blow that money on whatever their vices are, and energetically, whatever is going to make them feel better at the time. And now they got a bunch of money to be able to do it. Number two, if they don't understand, I'm sorry, that was number three. Number three, if they don't understand time freedom, they're going to be a slave to whatever it is that you got going on that you left them. That's the mindset that they're going to have. If they are coming into a space that they have no healthy relationships, they're going to link up with people that's going to suck them dry and take all that money from them because they don't understand how to do healthy relationships. They don't understand boundaries because you ain't never have none. They only saw you giving out everything and doing everything for everybody. So they turn around and doing the same thing and they tricking out all the money. And then growth and purpose, they stay stagnant because they never know or never realize the importance of making that money work for them instead of them just working that money. So if we're going to be building generational wealth, we really need to talk about it for real. Because a lot of us are really not doing that. You just leaving a bag for your children, which is cool. But that's one of 5 things that need to be taken care of if you're trying to further the lineage. It is what it is. So if you're saying that this is what you're doing and you're stepping into the fullness of that, then step into the fullness of that. See, everybody want to be a cycle breaker and everybody want to be a queen, but don't nobody want to rule, take responsibility to get the results and the rewards. You just want to be rewarded. Being a cycle breaker and being a generational curse breaker sounds really cute, don't it? It sounds cute, but to whom much is given, much is required. You don't want anything to be required of you. You just want the rewards. You just want to be able to relax. That's not the way this goes. There's responsibility that comes with that. Yes, with this freedom that you get, there is great responsibility that comes with that. And if you're not ready for the responsibility, stop asking the Most High to help you manifest things that you ain't ready for, because you ain't ready. You ain't ready to be no wife. You ain't ready to run no multi-million-dollar company, a multi-six-figure company. You're not ready to step into a life that's full, and you don't want the responsibility. You're not ready for motherhood. You're not ready for these things, but you constantly begging and asking for these things and not realizing that while you don't have these things, you need to be working on yourself to even see if you're an energetic match for these things before you fumble these things. Before you fumble these things. Okay? Creating new habits after breaking generational curses is hard. It can be hard, but the first thing that you have to do is reprogram your mind. If you don't know how to reprogram your mind, that's going to be real hard. And if you don't know what to reprogram your mind with, it's going to be even harder. Because the biggest battle that you have on this earth is the one in your mind. It's the one in your mind. But the way that you battle a wild mind is with spiritual truth. But the problem is people are not rooted in spiritual truth. So therefore, when someone comes against you and calls you ugly, you are offended. You cry. You're in your feelings. You're sad. You're this. You're that. Meanwhile, when you say that to me, what I understand is that I am beautifully and wonderfully made. So despite whatever decision it is or choice of words that you are saying, what lets me know is this. This is what this lets me know. You don't know who you are. Therefore, you cannot know who I am. Therefore, you are not an expert to be able to speak on me because you do not know me. You're not heavy enough. You don't even know you're beautifully and wonderfully made. Because if you knew that, then you would not allow that to come out of your mouth towards me, because you do understand that what's coming out of your mouth is a projection of you. It is not a reflection of me. See, you can't crush somebody who knows who they are, who's fully accepted who they are. The problem is you don't know who you are and you won't accept who you are. You want to keep performing. You want to keep performing. And it just doesn't work that way. It's taken me a while to create a spiritual healing, creating a foundation. Completely understand. I have some courses to be able to support you with that if you needed deeper support. But definitely understand, when you understand self and you understand your identity, it's very difficult for people to tell you who you are. You don't need people, a society, to tell you how to be feminine. You're feminine by design. You're feminine by design. The issue is you're disconnected from your feminine nature. You're disconnected from your core. And the issue at hand is that you need to realign with that. And when you realign with that and you get centered, then you realize you no longer have to be dependent on society and their systems. And when you stop depending on society and their systems, you stop submitting to society and their systems. And guess what you stop doing? You stop submitting to societal standards of beauty and all these other things. And then all of a sudden you just blossom. And people start asking you, what you doing? What you did? What's going on? What's this? What's that? You just found out, you just reconnected and realized who you were. Thank you, my love. Okay? So let's talk about, when I'm talking about the reason why women do too much and why they continue to do so much. I don't think you realize the law that you're violating. Now, I don't know if any of you have kind of heard of Abram Hicks. And they talk about this one particular law called the law of allowing. And I'm going to show you how that's actually rooted in scripture. And a lot of women are violating the law of allowing. Okay? So the law of allowing basically speaks to you must allow yourself and others to be exactly where they are, without force, without judgment or resistance. And trust that alignment, support, and solutions come through surrender and not struggle. Okay? She said, since taking your classes, people have asked me, what are you doing? I'm so glad. All praise to the Most High. Okay? The law of allowing states again that you must allow yourself and others to be exactly where they are without force, judgment, or resistance, and trust that alignment, support, and solutions come through surrender and not struggle. Okay? Hold that question for me, Maria. I got you. Control says, or when you're trying to force something, that says, I trust myself more than I trust the God that created me. That's what that says. When you feel like you got to force somebody to be with you, force someone to talk to you, force someone to tell you something, force a particular type of outcome. What that says is, I know better than God. And you can take that how you want to take it. But it's the truth. Thank you, my love. All praises to the Most High. I didn't used to be this calm. I used to be a whole lot of hellfire and war. So when you see the people in that calm, trust me, they're probably warriors underneath. But when you are in a space when you're trying to control the scenario, it's because you really don't trust the outcome. You don't trust that the Most High got you. That's the truth. You don't. You may not want to admit that, but it's really, really true. Allowing yourself to trust says, I align with what's already mine. That's what it says. I align with what's already mine. When you're constantly trying to fix and constantly trying to force and constantly trying to micromanage, you're you're operating from fear and not faith. And it literally tells you, without faith, it's impossible to please Him. It's impossible. It's impossible. Yes, I am. And the link is in the bio. Okay? The law of allowing requires trust. It requires receptivity. Y'all won't even receive a compliment. Y'all so uncomfortable getting compliments, you gotta throw it off on somebody. I remember a time when I was really in my masculine, real tough, right? And I had ended up meeting a masculine man. It was very interesting. And this was years ago. And I remember him saying something to me, and I was like, thank you. And I said something back, to be polite. And he said to me, I want you to just, when I say something to you, in that sense, I want you to just say thank you. I don't want you to feel the need that you need to give me a compliment. I don't need that. And it was in that moment that I realized that I didn't like to be seen. But because I didn't like to be seen, I would throw it back off of me onto you. You look so pretty today. Oh, you look so pretty today. That's not authentic energy. That's not receptivity. That's not a movement or a move of a regulated woman. That's a woman that's unsure of herself. That's a woman that struggles to receive. That's a woman that's uncomfortable in her skin. Because if you're not throwing the compliment back onto them, you're insulting yourself. Oh, this little thing, girl, I feel like I look a mess. Oh, girl, I just put something together. I just. Always downplaying yourself. The law of allowing, like I said, requires trust. Excuse me. It requires receptivity and regulation, not hustle, not working hard. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you allow. And the version of you that you're becoming is asking you to surrender the control that's keeping you small. Surrender the control that's keeping you small. So let's talk about how the law of allowing and what it's really rooted in. Okay, the scripture that it's rooted in. Y'all, I hate the way these curls on this side are. Stress me out. So this is rooted in Psalms 46 and 10. Okay, be still and know that I am God. That's the law of allowing. Be still and know that I am God. To be still means to release resistance, to surrender control, to pause emotional reactivity. To know is to trust in divine timing, to trust in your alignment, to trust in your power. That I am God is you don't need to carry what's not yours. Allow God to do what only the Most High God can do. You need to understand that you are not the source, you are the steward. And this is for my cycle breakers. This is for my oldest daughters. This is for the ones who get out here and who are making it happen. You've broken all these things and you're making all this money. Now you're doing all this. You are not the source. You are the steward. Okay? Your job is not to force. Your job is to flow, to align, and to allow. Here's how a lot of women tend to violate this law unknowingly. You just kind of do it and you don't really realize it. Constantly fixing, constantly planning, constantly chasing, constantly over explaining. You are violating the law of allowing. Constantly feeling guilty for resting or receiving. You are violating the law of allowing. Reacting emotionally when things don't go as planned. You didn't call me. Ooh. Now I'm finna get on your head. You didn't call me. You said you were going to call me. You didn't call me. You said we were going to go out. We didn't go out. You said you were going to do this. We didn't do that. Why are you not allowing this man to be himself so you can really see him with true eyes instead of trying to force him into being something that he is not? Why are you trying to force him instead of just allowing him to show you the type of man that he is, the type of person that he is, and so that you can make a fair assessment? See, now you want to go, why did you do this? Why did you do that? Now he doing that and you feel happy and he just tricked you because he really don't like you. So he just knows now that when you get mad, you're going to say the things that you want done, and then he's going to pretend until he gets the things that he wants, and then he's going to leave you alone. Real simple, real easy. Real simple, real easy. Emotionally overreacting when things don't go as planned. Trying to force people, clients, or timelines to move faster. Controlling or trying to use or confuse control with power. All of these things. All of these things are how you're violating the law of allowing. Because you're being manipulative in a deceptive way. In a very deceptive way. If you don't shift to what's happening right now in your life, your quarter two, which we just entered into, is going to mirror quarter one. You're going to be performing over giving real presence. You're going to have pressure all over and within self instead of clarity. You're going to burn out behind pretty branding. See, some of y'all brand very well. You brand well in business and you brand well in life, but underneath you're burnt the hell out. underneath you're collapsing due to the emotional weight. If you don't stop and shift this, you'll keep grinding for visibility. You'll keep wanting to be seen instead of embodying influence. See, the women who want to be seen, they used to have this saying when I was like, why you want to be so loud? Women are not loud. Why are you trying to be seen? See, when you're trying to be seen, you make a spectacle of yourself. When you're trying to be seen, you make a spectacle of yourself. Okay? I do actually. I'm going to talk about that in just a second. You trying to be seen and trying to grind for visibility, okay? Instead of embodying influence is why you don't get the things that you want. Because one thing my dad used to say growing up was the empty wagon makes the most noise. An empty wagon makes the most noise. If you are so much so, look at me, 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 there must not be any substance to me, substance to me, substance to me. Because value recognizes value. You don't have to go into the jewelry store and wonder if the jewelry in the back has value or not. You already know this, which is, you know this because this is why it's protected and kept in the back. Okay? So when you understand that, you don't grind for visibility. You don't do things to be seen. You simply embody influence and people feel you. They connect with you. They see you. They resonate with you. And they want more of you. Okay? That's what it looks like to embody influence. If you don't make this shift, you're going to sabotage love. You're going to sabotage wealth. You're going to sabotage opportunity because these things are going to require stillness, hey love, softness, and strategy. And you lack those things. You like those things. The next season isn't about chasing more. As you see, they're trying to exhaust you. You don't have the capacity to chase more. You don't have it in you. You don't. You do not have this in you. It's about becoming more magnetic to what's already aligned. So like I said in the beginning, you don't have to do more. You need to become more magnetic. You need to work on your energetics, my love. Because nobody can resist. Nobody can resist an alluring fire. No, everyone, if there is a blaze, everyone has to turn the eye to it. Okay? Everyone has to turn the eye to it. Everyone is drawn to it. So, elevate the fire. Okay? So, of course, you guys know tomorrow I'm having a masterclass. Drop your questions in the comments. I'm going to come and I'm going to answer them. I'm having a masterclass tomorrow. The class tomorrow is called the Heart and the Throne Masterclass. It is for women who understand that they're queens and they're prepared to rule. These women have businesses. These women may have already started. And they've already made money. They've already done these things. But the energy just still doesn't command. And there's a reason why. There's a reason why this happened, okay? So let's talk about who this is for. This particular this particular session is going to be for women of wealth and influence who refuse to let emotional reactivity block their next level. It's for entrepreneurs, it's for executives, and it's for visionaries who need a structured leadership framework to sustain their success. Anyone who knows it's great to start a business. It's a different kind of element to be able to be in business for a while. We're talking sustainability. So I'm not talking to somebody who's looking to make a quick buck. I'm looking for someone who really, for the type of women who truly want to create longevity and legacy. They understand why they're here. Okay? They just need that solid foundation to get themselves in space. All right? Women who are tired of burnout cycles and inconsistent execution. Women who know that the next season requires strategy, not survival mode. So if you've been operating from a space of overthinking, which is a form of worry, which scripture tells you not to worry, but if you don't know, the reason why it tells you, right, that you should not worry is because worry weakens your immune system. I told you everything I give you going to come from scripture, science, and psychology. Okay? Weaken ruins your immune system. It weakens it because it ruins your spleen. And your spleen can no longer work with your stomach. And that's why when you go to the doctor and they tell you have IBS because you started having issues with digestion for about 6 months, and you go in and they tell you need to lower your stress and they need to tell you, oh, you need to eat according to this and all of that, it's about your energetics, sweetheart. Your energetics is off. One of the modalities that I am certified in is that I am an energetic psychology practitioner. So I understand how emotions impact you on the cellular level. I have used that work to be able to support women in using their cycles and syncing with their cycles properly. That's helped women go from 5 figures to 6 figures and to 6 figures to multi 6 figures. And I myself have built a 6 figure plus business from the ground up without hustling because I am in sync with my menstrual cycle. And this is coming from someone who used to have issues with polycystic ovarian syndrome when nobody was talking about it. I used to be 100 pounds heavier. So I'm not telling you something I'm new to. I'm telling you something that I'm very true to. When you get in alignment with self, it hits different. It's a different kind of element. And you can use your cycle to be able to make more money because there is a connection between, it's called the hypoaxis. It's the hypothalamus, the pituitary gland, and your ovaries. There's a time frame within your 4 phases of your cycle that your brain is sharper, you are more creative, you are more active, you are more in that energy. It is the perfect time for you to be able to lay things down and make money. But if you don't understand yourself, you are disconnected from your core. And when you're disconnected from your core, you're disconnected from the cash, baby. Which is why the cash ain't consistent, because you are disconnected from yourself. As a queen, you can't rule in your own life, so you can't rule in business. Okay? So when it tells you if you are an overthinker, you have a bigger problem because you're not only just faithless, because to worry is to not believe. To not believe is to not have faith. The root of everything is that you're faithless, which means you need to uproot your beliefs. It's time to shift. So if you've been in cycles of overthinking, burnout, and emotional reactivity, this is going to be a cellular reset. What I'm going to be teaching you in here is going to support you in restructuring life. Okay? This is where you're going to step into mastery. Here's what you're going to learn over the next 2 days. And this class is happening tomorrow and it is happening Thursday. So it's a 2-day. The first day you're going to get the power structure, the foundations of true leadership. Why emotionally reactive women cannot sustain success. And as you know, everything I teach that you can apply in life, business, and relationships, because how you do one thing is normally how you do all things. So we're going to get into why emotionally reactive women cannot sustain success in any area of life. We're going to get into the 4 pillars of power, okay, so that you can really tap into that. It's going to be, what else was I going to say? I'm sorry, that question threw me for a second because I didn't understand what you meant. We're going to talk about the 4 pillars of power: power, spiritual intelligence, mental intelligence, emotional intelligence, and artificial intelligence. Because if you need to learn how to use artificial intelligence without sourcing your consciousness out, we're doing a lot here and we need to stop. You're also going to learn the science of emotional mastery and regulation. You're going to learn how to make intelligent and strategic decisions that align with your highest level. You're going to learn how to create systems that support your next level success. When you leave day 1, you're going to have a personal audit of your leadership gaps and a strategy on how to shift it immediately, okay? On day number 2, you're going to get the execution and embodiment strategy. This is your strategy for quarter 2 and beyond. This year is going to shift after quarter 2. It's going to shift during quarter 2 even more, but it's really going to shift quarter 3s and 4. And you ain't ready. If you ain't ready, I don't know what to tell you. But this helps you get ready. This is going to help you get ready. Number 1, you need to learn how to master inner and out of leadership. You need to know the inner and outer game of leadership. That's number 1. Number 2, you are going to learn how to leverage AI without losing feminine intelligence. A lot of people are using AI as a source to think for you. Do not do this. Do not do this. And I'm going to talk to you about that. Okay? The class is $297. You can get it with Klarna, Firm, and Afterpay. The third thing that you're going to learn is how to create sustainable influence, wealth, and authority. You're also going to get your personal throne strategy for quarter 2, how to step into April full, prepared, aligned, and unstoppable. You're also going to get the emotional mastery execution plan to ensure that you are leading from power and not pressure, okay, or not force. You're going to leave with a clear, structured plan for quarter two. There's no second guessing, there's no more emotional sabotage. So, this is what we're going to be going over the next 2 days in the Heart in the Throne 2-day master class intensive. It is definitely for women who are ready to do their work. It's not for the faint heart. For a lot of us as women, we are great at being creative, but we lack the foundation. And here's the true thing I need you to understand when it comes down to you having a business. When you have a business and you are a woman, you need to know how to be balanced both on the left side brain and right side brain, okay? So left side brain is more masculine aspect of things, your task and different things like that, your action taking, decision making, critical thinking, all of that is left brain energy. Right brain energy is going to be your creativity, your nurturing, your feelings, intuition, all of those things. In order for you to have business or be in business successfully as a woman, you need to be balanced in both areas. A lot of women have been really good at doing things like being creative and but not necessarily laying the foundation for your creativity so you can thrive in your feminine. That's really, really important. So what this is going to do is support you in the aspects of laying down the structure. The structure is the left brain energy. It is the masculine aspect of things. If you really want to flourish, this is why when women make comments like I understand what y'all mean, but y'all aren't saying it right, which is why it comes across wrong. When women say things like, I need a man to put me in my feminine or in my soft girl era, first and foremost, no man can do that. So really need to change the terminology around that. But I understand what it is that you are trying to say. What you are trying to say is that I need to deal with a man who can provide the structure, the order, the direction, okay, so that I can come into that space and I can pour into it my feminine sauce, the nurturing, the all the other things that men need to thrive so they can continue to keep going and working hard for the family. That is basically what you're saying. That's understood, okay? But y'all ain't wording it right, which is why people are getting offended by what you're saying. But the second aspect of this, when it comes down to this class, what this class is doing for you is laying that foundation. Okay? This class is laying the foundation for structure so you can support yourself. Because here's the thing that you need to realize. I need y'all to stop sitting around and waiting for a 9 to 5, waiting for a man to come and provide for you. You have got to learn how to create the structure for yourself and how to support yourself. So when you are linking up with partners or positioning yourself in dating, you understand what support for yourself looks like primary, and that person is coming in to add value to what you are already doing. But if there is nothing already there, this is how y'all get tricked. See, this is how you play yourself right here. You have no standard of living. You have no standard of how you treat yourself. You have no standard of how you need to think. You have no standard when it comes down to your emotions. And therefore, when anybody comes in and give you an ounce of anything, even attention, you magnify it like it's really something when it's really nothing. A lot of y'all wouldn't get mad about somebody buying y'all flowers if you bought yourself flowers first. If you bought yourself flowers as a tradition for yourself, people will naturally buy you flowers. I am speaking from personal experience. I am a flower girl. Do you hear me? Roses, tulips, fire lilies. I'm going to have them. I'm going to have them around me. And when people see that, what do? They gift me flowers. What do men do? They gift me flowers. But them gifting me flowers is sprinkles, because me getting myself flowers is the ice cream in the cone. Everything else is additional. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much for pouring more into it. I love flowers. And they know I love them. But it ain't gonna hurt my feelings if they ain't gonna give it. I love flowers. And they know I love them. But it ain't gonna hurt my feelings if they ain't gonna give me none. If I don't get any from them, because I get them for myself first. I set the tone. I set the tone and I secure what the standard is going to be. So people match the standard or above. And that's what you have to understand about yourself. If you are a queen and you are calling yourself a queen, you need to be moving strategically. A lot of you don't realize you are playing, and I'm going to break this down real tough tomorrow. I'm going to break down how you play chess. This game of life is chess. So I'm going to break down clearly your position as the queen so you understand your position as the queen on the chessboard. You will understand your position as the queen in life. You will understand your position as queen in business and everything else. Once you understand the position of a queen on the chessboard. You need to understand that she moves strategically. You need to understand that this is about intention. You need to understand that this is about your next move being your best move. I'm not talking to little girls who are trying to figure out if or build their confidence. I'm talking to women who know, okay, who know that they are built and meant for more, but they just don't know what to do. They don't know how to lay the foundation to allow themselves to sit in ease, to operate from a space of power. All they know is force. See, when you grow up in scenarios and all you know is violence, all you know is force. But it's an easier way. It's a better way. And with you being a woman, instead of using seduction tactics to be able to lure men, you got to be able to seduce any experience. And you can. And none of it has to be deceptive. None of it has to be deceptive. You are just literally allowing your energy to do the work for you. But it's you doing the work on your energy that sets you up. It's you raising your vibrational state. Okay? This even, and I'll even give you this when it comes down to dating, because I had a conversation with someone, a client yesterday actually around this, and we were talking about dating, and I was explaining to her that if you understand your position as the queen, where does the queen go? Queens position themselves. That's what they do. So where are you positioning yourself? And I asked her, I said, you're saying that you're a queen, but where has the queen benefited from positioning herself in the club? Where's the benefit if we're talking about dating? Because if we're talking about dating and we're talking about a queen being a high level position, which requires a woman to be at a high vibrational state, then why are we entering into low vibrational states? Let's get into it. Well, what do you mean a low vibrational state? Let's get into it. The low vibrational state being the club is that number one, everything, the lighting, from the lighting to the music to the spirits that they serve you, all lower your inhibitions and lower your vibrational state. And people who come into that experience, they are looking to escape, so they want their vibrational state to be lowered. So if you are a high vibrational being going into a low vibrational state, expecting a high vibrational experience or even a high level value relationship, it doesn't really make sense because you're not in a position where you're an energetic match for that. You're not in a position for that. So when we're thinking about the queen and we're thinking about positioning and we're thinking about choices and decisions, you have to think about where the queen would reside. The queen would only go places that are going to keep her in a high vibrational state because she understands that the more joy she has, the more laughter she has, it is contagious, it is attractive, it is magnetic, it is alluring, it draws people in. See, it's when you're at a high vibrational state. When you look good, you feel good, you show up good, you exhibit all of these things, and people see it from afar. These are the type of women that you see that will get up. Let's just say if something is happening, there's some type of, I don't know, some type of luau. Let's say you go to a resort and there's some type of something, everyone is sitting down, and you see one woman get up and she is dancing just as free as she wants to be. She is just as free as she wants to be. Okay, because she's in a high vibrational state and she's so free to be able to dance in front of these people that everyone is drawn to her energy because she's so confident, she's so sure of herself. Okay, so the thing is, the queen understands positioning. Okay, the queen understands her choices and her decisions, and the queen understands that she is the keeper of the legacy. And all of those things she keeps on the constant frame on her mind. So in this class tomorrow, it's a very, very, very clear distinction that's going to be made. Okay? If you're ready to rule, if you're ready to really do your work, if you're really ready to make sure that you can manage not only your emotions, but also manage the throne. Because it tells you in scripture that you were given dominion. That means you have your own piece of the pie, you have your own space, you have your own lane. Okay? So, in order for you to be able to manage that, one has to manage self. Okay? Any questions before I get ready to go? Because I've got to go, y'all. But click the link in the bio to be able to get access to the class. Okay? It is happening tomorrow. All right? I'm sorry. I had to check the text from my mom. I'm about to go see her in a minute. So drop your questions in the comments. Congratulations to those. I've seen a couple of people did purchase. Congratulations to those who have purchased. It's going to be a 2-day intensive. And yes, you do get access to the replay. You do get access to the replay. Okay? The class is called The Heart and the Throne. You should see it at the very top. When you click the link in the bio, it should show up at the top. Okay? Any questions? And yes, this is going on YouTube. I still need to put the one from yesterday up there too, and I'm going to put it up there. It's 2 classes, and it is the Throne, the Heart and Throne 2-day intensive. You can click the link in the bio, scroll down, and get access. You can get a recliner, affirm, and afterpay. It's going to be an amazing class. If you are missing this structure, it's going to be very important. And can I be real honest with you? I wasn't going to say this, but I'm going to go ahead and say it anyway. I don't know who specifically this is for. But you're going to have to leave some people behind. Okay? You're going to have to leave some people behind. The people who don't want to change their life, stop trying to convince them. The people who don't want anything different, stop trying to convince them. Because I'm going to be real honest when I say this, and I really don't care what anyone thinks, but I'm just going to tell you the truth. It's too late for a lot of people. The shift that is happening in this world has already started. And they have already started with a lot of the attacks that are spiritual and that are mental and that are emotional. And people have spent the last couple of years playing instead of really fortifying their minds and fortifying their spirits and really doing the mindset work necessary to be able to thrive in the times and the things that are coming. And they've already missed it. So trying to convince them to be in the space that they already kind of need to be right now is not going to help you. You need to lay the foundation for your life and where you're going. And just in case they may, down the line, you decide to have them come along, if that's your choice. But you're going to have to leave them behind. You're going to have to leave them behind. It's too late. It's too late for a lot of them. And there's no need for you to feel bad about that because everyone has had an opportunity to pay attention. Everyone has had an opportunity to pay attention. And we pay attention to the things, right, that we think are valuable and that we value. So let them folks go. Let them go. What about it? Those are things that I enjoy. Oh, the course. You can get the Wealth Alchemist Guide to Sustainable Success. That's where that information is. That's where all the information is. Everything on magnetism. What you get in there is the Deconstruct and Refill Your Cup Masterclass. You also get the Magnetism Reset Masterclass. And you get the Wealth Alchemist Guide to Sustainable Success. So what those things are going to do is it's going to position you to be able to master your emotions, master your ability to be able to make money in a sustainable way, and also get yourself healthier. Because like I said, my results look like I was 100 pounds heavier. My results look like my clients have lost from 40 pounds to 60 pounds. One of my other clients, I think she's going into 70 now. My clients have been able to make more money. And all of these come with understanding these things. So the Wealth Alchemist Guide to Sustainable Success will probably be your best bet in that area. Okay? You can look them up anywhere. You can look them up anywhere. Just type in universal laws. But if you're talking specifically about attraction, magnetism, and shifting things, the Wealth Alchemist Guide to Sustainable Success is that's the one that's on money. Okay? All right, y'all. I have got to go. I hope that y'all have an amazing, amazing day. Click the link in the bio to be able to get access to any of the courses or services for those who are going to be in class on tomorrow. I cannot wait to see y'all. I'm so excited. It's going to be a great time. And it's going to give you the structure you need. And when you leave, you're going to really have some things going on. You're really going to be shifting. So I'm excited. How do we undo constant fight or flight? Lolita, you need to get the Love and the Nervous System Masterclass. You need to get the Love and the Nervous System Masterclass. You need to retrain your nervous system. That's how you come out of that. And I explained all of that in that course. You can get it for $150. It's really supposed to be $347, but it didn't get changed in time. So if you want it, I will go ahead and go get it today. Because it's going to change. Because women have had amazing results and experiences. I'm closing a test group that I did with women who used the Love and the Magnetism class and the Love and the Magnetism Intuitive Dating Challenge, and they have gotten amazing results in their dating life in just short of 30 days. They have gotten a whole lot of, it's just been a lot of great testimonials and things out of that. So if you want that, I would go and get it because it's $150 now, but it's going to be $347. Now that I remembered. I'm going to tell my assistant it'll probably be fixed tomorrow. So you might want to go get that. That's how you're going to come out of that. You need to know why you're in there first. And I break through the blocks that have you and position you and talk about why you probably operate that way. Okay? You're welcome. I teach you how to retrain your nervous system in that class. Scroll all the way down to the bottom. Scroll all the way down to the bottom of that 4-page doc that comes up, and you're going to click at the bottom where it tells you to buy. Is the nervous system reset class in person or self-guided? It's self-guided. The class that we're having tomorrow is with me. So yeah, it's very possible to retrain your nervous system. I did it, and I've done it for most of my clients. I wouldn't have been able to build a 6-figure plus business if I couldn't. Seriously. If I did not retrain my nervous system, I would not be in business. Because I'm a very private, shy person. Because I'm a very private, shy person. A shy individual at times. So I really like to be private. So me even doing this work was a retraining of my nervous system. Especially in the area of being able to hold money and love. So yes, you can. Okay? All right, y'all. I've got to go. I hope that y'all have an amazing, amazing Tuesday. Thank you so much for coming to this emotional intelligence lesson. You can click the link in the bio to be able to get access to the courses and services of the masterclass for tomorrow. The class that you need, Lolita, will be the Love and the Nervous System. Is that up there? Let me see. Let me make sure I'm not crazy. But if I'm not mistaken, it still should be up there. Because I forgot to change it. Or have her change it. I'm gonna look now. Um. Yep. It's under Sustainable Systems for Women. It's right under Retire in the Cape. So once you scroll down and you see Retire in the Cape, you'll see Love and the Nervous System Masterclass, and then you'll see the Wealth Alchemist Guide to Sustainable Success, and then you'll see the Feminine Flourishing Mastery Suite. So, yep. Love and the Nervous System. All right, darlings. I'm going to go ahead and go so I can go and be with my mommy. So I hope that y'all have an amazing, amazing Tuesday. Click the link in the bio to subscribe to my YouTube channel and check out any content and all that great stuff that's over there. I hope that you have an amazing, amazing day. Peace, y'all.